Hello out there, and today it is collection video time, guys, but it is a collection that I never really expected I'd have to talk about on this channel, because today we are going to be going over all of my slip joints. And there aren't that many of them, but just the idea that I'd be making a slip joint collection video would have been extremely foreign to me even a year ago, when I only had one or two in my collection. I wasn't carrying them very often. So a lot has changed, and yeah, if you've been with the channel for a long time, you might be aware of that I have started carrying slip joints a little bit more often as like a secondary carry, collecting a few here and there, and just starting to appreciate this style of knife a little bit more, either as like a backup carry or a gent piece or just a collectible traditional kind of thing. A number of different reasons why you might like a knife like this, especially if they're well made like a lot of these really are. So yeah, let's just get into it. Let's get started with the ones that I have in my collection. We'll come back to this guy in a bit, but I did, while I was just like digging around trying to find all of my knives, I did come up with a couple slip joints that I'm not entirely sure how I got them and where they came from, but they're in my collection now. We'll start with this one. This is a budget buck. It's called the 371. I believe this is the Stockman. This must have come from like a purchase on eBay where I just got a bunch of knives in a lot, or something like that on Instagram, where I just got a bunch of used stuff, because you can see how beat up these blades are. I'm not the one who beat them up. I'm not the one who sharpened them. So somebody really loved and used this knife quite a bit for a long time, it looks like. And yeah, it's nothing that I've ever carried. I probably never will, but pretty interesting little knife. I think these run around like 20 bucks. So the multiple blade thing for me, even though I am getting into slip joints, the multiple blade thing just really isn't my cup of tea. But there is another multiple blade knife that I think I probably got in that same transaction that I do like a lot more. And this one is called the Rough Rider. And yeah, it has two different blades. And I don't even know what this is. I looked on Amazon, guys, and I scrolled through about 5 pages of different Rough Rider models, and I couldn't find this exact one, but there's, dozens, probably, I think it was 347, I don't know, different models that looked a lot like this, though, and these are all in like the $10 to $15, $20 range, if that. And this knife is actually pretty darn nice, guys. It says second right here, and I think that means that it's a factory second or a blemished model in some way, shape, or form. I haven't really noticed anything that was that like glaring about it. But yeah, the spring tension on this knife is really good. It's a classy looking piece. You could definitely do a whole hell of a lot worse if you were looking for like a nice slip joint model to carry. So very cool. And yeah, like I said, I didn't even know I had this one. Just dug it up yesterday, and I'm glad I did, because this one might actually get carried, because it is a cool little knife. All right, now let's get into the two knives with clips that I have. So most slip joints that you come across aren't going to have clips. I do have one right here, the Spyderco Pingo, and this is a Voxnase and Jens Anzo collaboration. And this is made in Italy, the Maniago, Italy factory for Spyderco. And yeah, N690 blade steel. What makes this knife special to me, at least, is that my buddy Nick Maffei modified it. So this was originally with the orange scales, and he did like a red fade. And he's sort of the master when it comes to those red fades. And you can look how deep, that deep red is at the back. So very, very cool. And then he also added a Benchmade thumb stud to the Spyderco hull. So if you have one of these knives and you want to be able to open it one-handed, with, well, didn't really get it that well this first time. Let's try again. Yeah, with a little bit of a flick. It takes a little bit of a wrist flick, but you can flick these open if you have one of those Benchmade thumb studs put into that spider hole. So it works really well, makes it more full functional. I've carried this knife on a number of occasions, but usually it's for like legality purposes, depending on where I go. But for the most part, my carry system, I don't need my slip joints to have clips, even though I prefer clips. So funny how that works. The other one is a gift from my buddy Zach from Zach Stuff. And man, he sent this to me a long time ago, and I actually forgot that I had it. This is the CRKT Edgy. And if I ever do another like discontinued rare odd knives kind of video, this knife will definitely be on that list. So CRKT made two different versions of the Edgy. The first one is this one here, which is a slip joint, and the second one ended up having a locking mechanism. It's called the Edgy because there's actually, and I don't know how well we're going to be able to see it, but there's actually a like sharpening, like a diamond sharpening stone built into the liners. So when you close the knife, maybe you'll be able to hear this. No, I mean when you close the knife and then do this, it's supposed to basically like sharpen the knife, and it's self-sharpening when you open and close it, and it keeps at least a serviceable edge on the blade. Pretty interesting. Also, though, I mean, it's a great design. It's a great design knife. It's really good in the hand. Yeah, just one of those old classic CRKTs that you wish they'd bring back, and again, just another one of many examples of their excellent innovation. All right, so those are those two. Yeah, so we'll do the Victorinox and then the Propers and then the GECs to finish. So I have one Victorinox knife. I got this in a trade a long time ago. And this is a single-bladed stainless steel Victorinox A-Lox. I don't know exactly what the name of the model is. I will try to look it up, and hopefully you're seeing it right now. I think it's super cool. This is one of like the neatest little knives that I have. It's probably, of all of these knives, the lightest one. I mean, it weighs like nothing. Let's weigh it. Why not? 1.59 ounces. So just for comparison, well, yeah, that's going to be heavier, but let's get the Proper out here real quick. Let's just do a quick interlude for lots of different weights. We'll get to this guy in a second. Yeah, so all of these are over like, 1.92 ounces, but yeah, the Victorinox is just super light. It still feels good in the hand. I do have a number of like Swiss Army knives and multi-tools that are obviously going to be slip joints, but I didn't really think that was like qualifying for the slip joint collection video. I wanted it to be like knives only, not tools, and so this one qualifies for that. This is a great like back pocket carry, just another one of those really nice examples of a secondary knife where you're carrying something and you're with someone and they need to borrow a knife. You don't want to give them your like Benchmade or your Spyderco. You've got like a really nice secondary thing that will definitely get the job done. Won't take up a lot of pocket space. Yeah, really like this knife, and I just like the brand. I just like the traditional aspect of the brand. All right, now let's get into the Benchmade Propers. I have two of them. So most of you probably know about this one right here. This is the basic Proper with the micarta handle scales that my buddy Constantino sent me. It has my channel name, JT's Knife Life. So this is just like a treasured piece in my collection. And this one gets a lot of carry and use. I do have a special slip that I got made for this knife. So a leather slip. It also says JT's Knife Life. And on the back you can see GL. I don't remember what the L stands for, but I believe this is from Gromit's Cutlery, and I'll flash that website across the screen as well. But you can go and basically customize what kind of leather you want and what color thread. So yeah, basically build your own kind of slip, and this is specifically designed for the Proper, so it fits really, really well. So really cool there. Now the other Proper, and I'm going to go on a tangent, and I know if you watch this channel, guys, you're used to my tangents, so I'm not going to apologize for them anymore. But the reason why I wanted to make a video today, the reason why I wanted to make a slip joint video was originally I wanted to talk about this knife right here. So this is another Benchmade Proper. It has some special scales, as you can see, and my goal, my idea was to make a disassembly video as I take off the red G10 the red G10 scales that I really don't care for on the regular Proper. Why would you ever go with the red G10 when you have this micarta? And the G10 just could have been better anyway. Let me see. I might have it nearby here, but yeah, I'm going to dig it out real quick. So the G10 on the regular Proper, It's not even that I dislike G10. I just think that, compared to the micarta, they could have done a much better job. They could have made it more polished and made it look more classy. And this isn't a bad piece of G10 by any means, but it just isn't nearly on the same level as far as gents piece, classiness, all that good stuff as the micarta. So I wanted to upgrade it, and I found on eBay, believe it or not, this ebony, white and black ebony set of scales for $40. And I wanted to make a video about those scales and me putting those scales on the knife. I really struggled disassembling the knife, and especially putting it back together. Even though, one of the big perks about this is that it has the Torx screws, and it's easier, I guess, to modify because of that. There was a lot of Loctite. There were some issues with me being able to get the knife back together. So filming that was just sort of, wasn't that good. And I wanted to feature these scales a little bit more, and, didn't know what kind of video to make. So anyway, here we are with a Slipjoint collection video. So these scales are just super sweet. They're wood. They're very, very lightweight. You can see the fit and finish on them isn't exactly perfectly flush, but it's so good that it'll never be an issue. And yeah, just really great looking scales. And I will link or either just show the name of the eBay seller. He doesn't have an Instagram or a website quite yet, but he definitely has a lot of talent. So hopefully we'll see more things from him, different models and stuff too, because at this price point, these scales are definitely a big win. So those are the two propers. And now let's get into the GECs. So I have 4 currently, believe it or not. Started with none a while ago. And yeah, I have 4 GECs. Well, sort of. We'll get to it. But the first one right here is the 78. So this 78 was my first one. I bought it from a buddy of mine on Instagram. Pretty cool little knife. This is the Gabon ebony. And let me see if I have the tube. Yeah, let's just show the tube for all these. So 782117. And I believe this is called the either the bullet end jack or the American jack. I think, I get them mixed up. And then the next one that I got, I didn't realize that it was so similar. This one is the 85, the beaver tail. So yeah, this was mine, brand new. You can see getting some of the rust spots and everything. Patina will show up, I'm sure, but a lot of the rust comes from just sweat and humidity versus forced use from citrus and stuff like that. So not sure what this blade is going to look like, but you can always polish it up, so I'm not really worried about it. It's mine. This is going to be in my collection probably for forever. So yeah, really like this one. I did pick up a slip for those 2 knives, another leather one, and I will show the name of the guy who made this one for me on Instagram. It just looks very plain and simple, but it really fits these knives perfectly. And so whichever one I end up carrying, I can just swap them out. So pretty good there. The last 2 are actually ones that I got from my buddy George, who I sell some of his knives, and he had a couple GECs that he sent for me to sell, and I was like, well, I just want those myself, so I'm gonna keep them, and I'm gonna buy them myself. And so I did. And the first one is one of the more budget ones. It's a 71, but really nice green micarta on this. And oh man, I said I would show the box and I totally didn't. So sorry, let me jump back to the last one. So the tube for the last one is the jigged Brazilian cherry 852118. And for this one, 715118. So olive drab, green linen micarta, the bull nose. Just sort of more of a user, more budget model than a lot of the other GECs, but it's just a classic design. So I like having this one. And then last but not least is my Northwoods. So this also came from him, from George. And I purchased this one, and it was pretty beat up. and I polished it up and sort of got it back to life. And this is the Big Bay with red burlap micarta, I believe. So just a beautiful classic knife. And this one, funny enough, I bought a slip. When I got my first one, I didn't know, this is how much of an amateur I still am. You know, first I didn't know that the 78 and the 85 were so similar, but then also I didn't know that there was a difference between North Woods and North Field, which is one of the designations of the GEC knives. So when I got my first one, when I picked this one up, I bought a slip that said this. Not really understanding the difference, and obviously since then I put in some time. I've learned what it's all about. I've really started to get like immersed in the culture of it. But yeah, so now I have a slip for this knife as well, and yeah, it works out really nicely. So overall, guys, yeah, that's just about everything. So one thing, if you are sticking around to this point, just a little bit of a teaser, and I'm going to say this on camera now just so I can't take it back. If and when this channel hits 5,000 subs, this propper right here will be part of the giveaway for that. And like I said, I really like that knife. I'm saying it on camera now, not getting ahead of myself as far as subscribers go, not at all, but in order to confirm that I can't take that back. All right, guys, so those are my slip joints. I really appreciate you watching. What's your favorite out of all of these? What's your favorite slip joint? Do you carry 2 different knives? Let me know about all that, yeah? Comments down below. Let me know what kind of knives you like to carry and how you incorporate slip joints into your daily carry if you do. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Sorry for being so long-winded, but hopefully you enjoyed the video. Take care. Talk with you soon.